Tasha had been quietly observing from the sidelines, watching the tension between Spice and Bambi build like an oncoming storm. The cast was split, with sides being chosen, but Tasha wasn't one for taking sides. Not until she had all the facts. And today, she was going to get the facts. She'd always trusted her instincts, and her instincts were telling her something was off. Spice had been too calm, too composed, as if she was preparing for something big. And Bambi had been acting strange, even for her. Her usual charm was gone, replaced with a nervous energy that Tasha couldn't ignore. So, she did what Tasha did best, she dug. While the cast was still reeling from the initial confrontation, Tasha had gone through every possible lead she could find. She wasn't just a bystander. She was a part of this game now. She needed the truth, and she wasn't going to let it slip through her fingers. She pulled out her phone, scrolling through the messages that had been circulating all day. A picture, a screenshot, something that had the potential to unravel everything. There it was, the message that would change everything. A DM from a burner account with a photo attached. Tasha's heart skipped a beat. The photo was clear. Bambi, standing with a child who wasn't Scrappy's. The child was smiling. But there was no mistaking the truth, this wasn't Scrappy's kid. She clicked the link, her fingers trembling. There, in black and white, were the receipts. Not just the leaked photo, but conversations, XDs, DMIs, even a video. Spice had been right. Bambi had been hiding a secret. And now, the proof was in her hands. Tasha couldn't believe what she was seeing. She sat down slowly, processing the information. This wasn't just about an affair. This was about manipulation, lies, and deceit on a level Tasha hadn't expected. And Bambi had been playing everyone. Scrappy, the cast, even the fans. But Tasha wasn't here to play games. She wasn't going to let Bambi get away with it. She had the truth. And now, it was time for the world to know. She called Spice. Spice, Tasha said, her voice steady but with a hint of fury. I have the receipts. The ones you've been talking about. It's all there. Everything you said, it's true. Spice's voice was calm, but there was a flicker of satisfaction behind it. I told you, she said simply. You ready to expose her? Tasha didn't hesitate. Hell yes. I'm going live. Right now. She took a deep breath, wiped her palms on her jeans, and hit the go live button. The camera clicked on, and Tasha's face appeared on screen. Her expression as serious as ever. Listen up, Tasha began, addressing the camera. What I'm about to reveal is something you're not going to believe. But I have the receipts, and I'm not backing down. BAMBI'S, the Bambi you've all been defending, has been hiding a secret. She let the words sink in. There was no turning back now. The viewers were already flooding in, the comments flying faster than she could read. The reactions were mixed, some were skeptical, but most were on the edge of their seats, waiting for what was next. Tasha pulled up the photo first, the leaked one, the one that had started everything. This is Bambi, and this, she said, zooming in on the child's smiling face, is not Scrappy's kid. I've seen it all, and now you will too. The chat exploded with comments. The reactions were loud and instant. Some were in disbelief, others were calling for the truth to come out. Tasha continued, her voice unwavering. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not here to judge. I'm here to show you the truth. And the truth is, Bambi has been lying. To everyone. Not just about this kid, but about everything. She manipulated Scrappy. She manipulated all of us. Tasha scrolled through the messages, reading aloud some of the most damning texts between Bambi and a man she'd been keeping in her life. I know you thought I was with Scrappy, but I'm still seeing Dre. One text read. We'll figure this out later. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. The comment section was on fire. Viewers were calling Bambi every name in the book. Some were even calling for her to be fired from the show. This is just the beginning, Tasha said, pausing. For effect, I've got more. And I'm not stopping. She pulled up another video, this one of Bambi in a heated conversation with a man that wasn't Scrappy. The video showed Bambi saying things that made Tasha's stomach turn. I can't keep pretending, Bambi said in the video. I'm sorry, but I can't go back to Scrappy now. He doesn't even know. He thinks this child is his. I don't know how to fix this. Tasha couldn't help but feel a sense of justice, but she also felt a pit in her stomach. This wasn't just drama. This was real. People's lives were being destroyed by Bambi's lies, and now, it was time to face her. Tasha sat back, her phone still in hand, as the live stream continued to explode with comments. She scrolled through the sea of messages, some full of disbelief, others demanding answers. But Tasha wasn't looking for validation. She was looking for justice. And she wasn't going to stop until the truth came out. The video had done its job. People were talking. The walls were crumbling, and Bambi's carefully crafted world was beginning to unravel. The truth had found its way into the spotlight. And there was no escaping it now. Tasha wiped her brow, her nerves still on edge. She wasn't new to drama, she'd been part of this world for a while now. But something about this felt different. The stakes were higher. Scrappy's heart had been shattered, and Bambi was going to have to answer for what she had done. But just as Tasha was about to gather herself and end the live, she heard her phone buzz again. This time, it was a message from Spice. "Get ready. Mama D's about to step in." Tasha paused. Mama D was always a wild card. She had her own way of handling things, but if she was getting involved, that meant things were about to get even messier. Tasha took a deep breath. "Alright, y'all. Stay tuned," she said to her viewers. "There's more to come." Within seconds, Mama D's live video notification popped up. Tasha's heart raced as she clicked the link. Mama D's face appeared on the screen, looking cons, but there was an undeniable fire in her eyes. "Listen, y'all," Mama D began, her voice firm and commanding. "I've watched my son suffer. I've watched him try and make things work, all while Bambi played him. I've had enough. I'm not staying silent anymore." The comments exploded as viewers tuned in to hear what Mama D had to say. Tasha leaned forward, knowing this was the moment things would shift. "Now, we've all seen the receipts. We've seen the proof," Mama D continued, her gaze unwavering. "But there's one thing that hasn't been addressed yet, and that's the paternity of this child Bambi's been hiding. We're going to need a DNA test, a real one." The viewers went wild in the comments, some of them shouting in support, others confused by the sudden turn of events. But Mama D wasn't done. "I've been quiet for too long," she said, her voice becoming more intense. "I've let Bambi pretend she's innocent, but I see through the lies. My son deserves the truth, and so does this baby. Mama D's words were like a heavy punch to the gut. Tasha knew this would set off an entirely new chain of events. But it wasn't just about Bambi anymore. Now, it was about the baby, and whether it was truly Scrappy's. Tasha turned to her viewers, her tone serious. "This is big, y'all. Mama D's calling for a DNA test. She's demanding the truth, and if Bambi's been lying, it's going to blow this whole thing wide open." The comments flooded in even faster now, the fans eager for every word. It was clear this drama was far from over. Meanwhile, Scrappy sat at home, staring blankly at his phone. His hands shook as he scrolled through the live feeds, watching Mama D's video. He didn't want to believe it. He didn't want to think that his world, his family, was built on lies. But deep down, he knew. He had always known there was something off. Bambi's behavior, her secrecy, it all made sense now. The child wasn't his. He was being played. Tasha still lived, kept the viewers engaged. "Y'all, Scrappy hasn't said anything yet, but he's seen all of this. He knows the truth now, and it's up to him to decide what's next." As the day went on, the cast continued to divide. Team Spice and Team Bambi. Scrappy was caught in the middle, unsure of who he could trust anymore. His pain was visible. He wasn't just heartbroken. He was angry at Bambi for betraying him, angry at himself for not seeing it sooner. But as the tension built, so did the pressure. Bambi, realizing that things were spiraling out of control, tried to make her move. She reached out to Mama D, hoping to do some damage control. But Mama D wasn't having it. "Bambi," she said coldly over the phone, "I've seen the lies. I've heard the excuses. You're not fooling anyone anymore. The truth is coming out, and it's time for you to face it." Bambi's voice trembled as she tried to explain. "Mama D, please, just listen. I never wanted to hurt Scrappy. I was just trying to protect him." "Protect him?" Mama D scoffed. "From the truth. You've been playing my son for years. Now it's time for you to pay the piper." The conversation ended with a cold click. Mama D wasn't going to give Bambi a chance to explain herself. This was bigger than her. This was about her son, and nothing was going to stop her from getting him the answers he deserved. Meanwhile, back at the retreat, tensions were rising. Spice, watching everything unfold, knew that this wasn't just about Bambi anymore. This was about exposing the truth for everyone involved. She had done her part, but there was still more to come. She wasn't going to let Bambi off easy. This isn't just a game. Spice said to Tasha in a private conversation. "This is about people's lives being destroyed, and Bambi's not going to get away with it." Tasha nodded. "I'm with you, we're in this together." As the night fell, the storm that had been brewing for weeks finally broke. Scrappy, after a day of silence, posted on his social media. "Everything I thought I knew, it was a lie. The truth hurts, but it's time for it to come out." The post was short, but it sent shockwaves through the cast and the fans. Scrappy had spoken, and now, there was no going back. As the episode came to a close, the fallout was just beginning. Bambi had tried to hold on to her reputation, but with every passing second, the walls were closing in. Scrappy was done with the lies, and Mama D was going to make sure that no one ever manipulated her son again. Tasha's role had been crucial in this revelation. She wasn't just a bystander. She had been the one to connect the dots and bring the truth to light. And now, she was part of something much bigger than herself. The truth had finally surfaced, and the cast would never be the same again. The next morning, the atmosphere at the retreat was heavy, suffocating. The drama from the night before had spilled over like a flood, with everyone on edge. The cast had split into two factions, Team Spice and Team Bambi. As the air buzzed with whispered conversations and side-eyed glances, it became clear that no one could stay neutral anymore. Tasha, having been the one to expose Bambi's affair, knew that this moment was pivotal. She couldn't back down now. She had stirred the pot, and she was ready to see this through. She had seen the way the fans were reacting, how the online world was ablaze with the allegations. The support she'd received for stepping up had been overwhelming. But Tasha also knew that this level of attention came with its own risks. Bambi, for all her attempts at playing the victim, was now visibly cracking. She had tried to salvage her reputation, but with every new post from Scrappy, every video from Mama D, her lies were being exposed, one by one. There was no escaping the truth anymore. And worse still for Bambi, it was no longer just about her marriage. It was about her credibility, her integrity, and she was losing both fast. Scrappy, meanwhile, had gone into isolation. He hadn't spoken to anyone, hadn't even appeared on social media for days. His emotions were torn in all directions. Anger, pain, confusion, it all swirled within him. But the one thing that remained clear was that his world, the world he had built with Bambi, was in shambles. The trust he had placed in her had been shattered beyond repair. It wasn't just the affair. It wasn't just the lies. It was the fact that Bambi had manipulated him for years. And now that he knew, there was no coming back from that. But as Scrappy sat in his room, staring blankly at the walls, he couldn't help but think about his daughter. How would she feel about all this? What would she say when she got older and learned about her mother's deceit? His thoughts were interrupted by a knock on the door. It was Mama D. "Boy, get up," she demanded, her voice firm but filled with concern. "We got work to do. This ain't just about you anymore. It's about the truth coming out, and we're gonna make sure it does." Scrappy slowly stood up, his hands shaking slightly as he ran a hand through his hair. "Mama, I don't know what to do. She's been lying to me for so long. I don't even know who she is anymore." Mama D gave him a sympathetic look, placing a hand on his shoulder. "I know, baby, but you're not alone in this. You got people who got your back, and we're gonna take this all the way to the end. We ain't stopping until Bambi faces what she's done. You hear me?" Scrappy nodded, his face hardened with determination. He wasn't sure what the next steps were, but he knew one thing: he wasn't going to let Bambi get away with this, not after everything. Meanwhile, the drama at the retreat continued. Tasha, now a central figure in this whole ordeal, had the attention of the entire cast. She had already stirred up so much drama with her live stream, and now it was time for her to keep the pressure on. She walked into the main area of the retreat, where Bambi was sitting with a few other cast members. Tasha could feel the eyes of everyone on her as she made her way toward them. The room fell silent, the tension almost palpable. Bambi, still trying to salvage what was left of her reputation, looked up at Tasha with a mixture of anger and desperation. "You think you're helping, Tasha? You think you're the hero here?" Tasha stood tall, her eyes cold and unflinching. "No, Bambi," she said firmly. "I'm not the hero. I'm just the one who's not afraid to expose the truth. You've been playing this game for far too long, and now, you're getting what's coming to you." The rest of the cast remained silent, unsure of where to place their loyalties. Bambi, clearly struggling, shot a venomous glance at Tasha. "You have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know the first thing about what I've been through. I've been trying to protect Scrappy, protect this family, protect Tasha scoffed. You've been lying to him. And the worst part is, you've been lying to yourself. You thought you could keep up this charade forever, but the truth always comes out. Bambi's face flushed with anger, and, for a moment, it seemed like she might lash out. But she didn't. Instead, she stood up, her voice trembling. You're not going to ruin me, Tasha. I've been through worse. You're just trying to tear me down, and it won't work. Tasha stepped closer, her voice unwavering. You don't get it, do you? This isn't about me. This is about your lies. And now it's time for you to face the consequences. You can try to blame me, but we both know who's really responsible. Bambi turned her head, avoiding Tasha's gaze, her hands shaking. Tasha knew she had hit a nerve. The tension was thick as Tasha walked away, leaving Bambi to fume in silence. The truth had been exposed, but the real battle was far from over. Later that night, as the cast gathered for a final group meeting, the atmosphere was electric with nervous energy. Everyone was waiting for Scrappy to make his move, to decide where he stood in this growing mess. But as the minutes passed, Scrappy remained absent. No one knew where he was, what he was doing, or how he was processing the events. Finally, the door opened. Scrappy walked in, his face solemn, his eyes haunted by the weight of the truth. He didn't speak at first. He just stood there, surveying the room. The cast held their breath, waiting for him to say something, anything. Scrappy finally spoke, his voice low but full of resolve. I've been sitting in my room all day thinking about everything, he began. And I've come to one conclusion. I can't let this go on anymore. I can't keep pretending like everything is fine when it's not. The truth is out there, and now I have to face it. The room went silent. Scrappy's words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I've been hurt. I've been lied to, he continued, his voice cracking slightly. But the truth is, I've got a family to think about, and I'm done letting lies destroy us. Mama D, standing nearby, smiled faintly. That's my boy, she said quietly. Bambi, who had been standing at the back of the room, now spoke up, her voice trembling with a mixture of frustration and fear. Scrappy, please. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. I never wanted to hurt you. Scrappy looked directly at her, his expression cold. You've hurt me more than you'll ever know, Bambi. But the truth is, I've got to move on. For myself. For my daughter. Bambi's face fell, the weight of Scrappy's words hitting her harder than anything. She had lost him, and she knew it. As the night wore on, the cast began to scatter, but the damage had already been done. The lines had been drawn. Tasha had played her part, bringing the truth into the light. But now, the fallout was inevitable. As the camera crew packed up for the night, Mama D pulled Scrappy aside. You did the right thing, baby. Now it's time to let go of the past and move forward. Scrappy nodded, but his heart still felt heavy. There was no turning back now. The lies had been exposed, and he had no choice but to face the consequences. And for Bambi, well, the real consequences were just beginning. The world knew the truth now, and she had nowhere to hide.